Welcome to the Bike Comparo show. Today we will be comparing the CB Hornet 160 to Pulsar 150. Refinement and build quality. The first and foremost thing you notice is the massive difference in the refinement of the two bikes. The Hornet revs with an uncanny smoothness that almost makes it feel too docile compared to the familiar, sharp, loud, and coarse exhaust note of the Pulsar 150. The sheer buttery, positive, and precise gear shift of the Hornet just cannot be matched by the Pulsar's feedbackless gear lever. Bajaj still has a long way to go before it catches up with Honda's sheer engineering prowess. Performance and tractability. The CB Hornet 160R has a whooping 21% more torque than the Pulsar 150. This becomes apparent as soon as you start riding. The difference in low end torque is especially noticeable, with the Pulsar 150 feeling surprisingly weak at the low revs compared to the Hornet. Even the mid range of the Hornet is much stronger than the Pulsar 150, resulting in need for lesser gear shifts while riding around town. Hornet's outright acceleration is also marginally better than the Pulsar, which is not at all surprising given its 8% power advantage over the Pulsar, and that too at 500 rpm lower as well. Handling and ride quality. The CB Hornet 160R is more neutral handling bike than the Pulsar 150. The Pulsar 150 feels front heavy and inspires less confidence while cornering. Hence, in spite of longer wheelbase, the Hornet is one which feels more agile around the corners. Hornet also feels more planted around corners thanks to its significantly wider tires, stiffer suspension setup, and the aforementioned longer wheelbase than the Pulsar 150. But that's not all. The Hornet also rides better than the Pulsar at speeds and maintains far better composure than the Pulsar 150 while tackling a series of bumps. Only the low speed ride of the Pulsar 150 is better than the Hornet thanks to its overall soft suspension setup. Comfort and ergonomics. The Hornet has a sportier riding position than the Pulsar. Foot pegs are comparatively rear set and the handlebar height is perfectly judged. Pulsar 150's ergonomics are more commuter biased but still reasonably comfortable. The only problem with the Pulsar 150 is that its tank does not have knee recesses, which makes it a bit of a nuisance while cornering. Pricing. The CB Hornet 160R retails at 79,900 rupees ex showroom Delhi, which makes it 8100 rupees more expensive than the Pulsar 150, having a sticker price of 71,800 rupees. Fuel efficiency. The CB Hornet 160R has an ARAI certified mileage of 62 km per litre, which is 3 km per litre less than the Pulsar 150's mileage of 65 km per litre. However, in our back-to-back tests, both the bikes were equally fuel efficient. Assuming the real-world mileage of the two-thirds of the ARAI mileage, suffering through the noise, vibrations, weak tractability, and narrow tires of the Pulsar 150 over 60,000 kilometers will result in a minuscule savings of 4,400 rupees over the CB Hornet 160R at the current fuel prices. This makes the Pulsar 150 12,500 rupees cheaper than the CB Hornet 160R to buy and run. Reliability and after sales service. Honda has undoubtedly proven to be much better than the Bajaj at providing hassle free service support in our country. Honda's products themselves are far more reliable than the Bajaj and thus do not require as much maintenance as Bajaj products in the first place. CB Hornet 160R is also bound to be better resale value than the Pulsar 150 after 5 to 7 years of usage. Firstly, because the Pulsar 150 is long pending a replacement, and secondly, due to superior build quality and reliability of the Honda, except the CB Hornet 160R to depreciate at least 5000 rupees less than the Pulsar 150. Overall, the cost of ownership of CB Hornet 160R turns out to be 75,000 rupees more than the Pulsar 150. But then the Hornet is superior in terms of performance, dynamics, refinement, reliability, and ergonomics, and thus worth much more than the extra expenditure that it demands over a Pulsar 150. And now for the verdict. We believe Hornet is better than the Pulsar 150.